Hello and greetings. Welcome to the Five Animal Frolics series of Wholeo-Awakening. I'm your guide, Nathan Faust. I hope that you've been really inspired and really love this series that we're doing here on the YouTube channel like I have. I have been absolutely inspired. I've been re-inspired sharing these animals with you guys. It is my opinion that me as the sharer, me as, if you want to call teacher, can learn from you guys more than I can learn from myself. So you are also my teacher. As I'm sharing this, you are sharing your knowledge with me, which I am forever, eternally grateful. If you love what we're doing here on Wholeo-Awakening, subscribe, like this YouTube video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and share abroad. That will greatly help increase positivity, I feel, for the whole world. Because that's what we're about here, is positivity and getting you from point A to point B. One announcement that I want to make before we begin in our Five Animal Frolics curriculum today is I'm going to be doing a course, a long course. This is going to be, probably will take for the rest of my life. That's what I intended. And I intend to live a very long time. But it's called Life Transformation Package. It's on Patreon. It's called the Life Transformation Package. Its entire point is to take you from where you are right now to the level that you want, to your dream life. And there's going to be a lot of coaching material on there. There's going to be, for example, courses on how to achieve your goals at very fast pace, how to have better relationships, how to talk better, how to communicate properly, because life is communication. There's going to be a lot of spiritual content on there too. We're going to be looking at hermetics. We're going to be looking at all kinds of different spiritual topics, Taoist teachings, Buddhist teachings, meditation teachings, and so forth. We will also be giving away certifications once that time comes about, of Qigong, meditation, facilitator, and so on and so forth, when that time arrives. It's just beginning. This is like its infant stage right now. I'm going to be uploading videos to it this weekend to start it off. And if you feel called or led to go ahead and participate in that course on Patreon called Life Transformation, wonderful. I promise you there's going to be videos released every single week. So, if not, I will definitely make notification why that is. Like, say if there's a sick day or something happened with a family member, which has been happening for the past few weeks, then I will make sure you are aware of that. But if you feel led to, then go right ahead. I forgot to mention also that there's going to be a Reiki certification about to be released. So make sure that you are stay tuned for that. That's going to be on Patreon. So look for that in the future. All right. Also, if you like the channel, remember, hit the subscribe, like the video, share with your friends, and stay tuned, because this series that we're doing today, the Five Animal Frolics, is going to get better. I think today is probably my favorite animal, one of my favorite animals, and that's the deer. We just got through with the tiger. And before I continue on, there are more movements for the tiger, there are more movements for the deer, and so on and so forth. What you have here on YouTube is just the preliminary. That's the preliminary round to get your feet wet. If you want the full system, go on Patreon, sign up for the Life Transformational Package. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to be, what we're going to do is we're going to start with the physical plane first. Meaning I'm going to demonstrate the movement first, and then we're going to chunk it down. Then, bit by bit, physically. And then we're going to go into the astral realms. And then I'm going to talk a little bit, finishing off the video, by talking a little bit about the psychology and the energetics of the deer. Next video after this one is going to be the seated deer meditation. So stick around for that. All right. Allow me to demonstrate the movement first. Okay. Beautiful, I think. I love it. So, let's get started with it. All right, the first thing that I do, I'm going to start with the feet first, okay? And then we're going to move up to the hip and then everything else. So, this movement is going to be a little bit different from what I've done here recently on YouTube with the tiger that we just finished, and of course the Taoist 5 Yin organ Qigong that we did prior. If you have not done the Taoist 5 Yin organ Qigong system, please go back and watch those videos after you're done watching this one. It's a very beautiful set. All right, so what am I doing? What are we doing here? Well, with the feet, we begin with the V posture. Now, it's like you're making V with your feet. Both of my big toes are going to be pointing roughly 45 degrees on both sides. And my heels of both feet are lightly underline, circle, highlight that word lightly. I am lightly touching my heels. After this, I shift my weight, meaning I pick the package up over here and set it down over here on this scale. I picked all my weight from my left foot and I transition it over here to my right foot, so that my left foot, as you can see, is on the toes or on the balls. I pick it up and I step. Across, just about hip or shoulder width apart is plenty. So again, let's try that again. Your feet are at heels touching. You transition the weight, so all of the weight is now on your right foot. You pick your left foot up. You step across, and you transition the weight. Now the weight is 50-50. Now we can begin with our practice of the deer. You probably saw me kind of swaying my hands back and forth. That's not unnecessary. Really, it's not. What that does is it tells my body in particular, it's time to go to the deer. You can do that, and I will share with you when it's time to focus on the arms, that particular movement. But you can just go straight into the deer without having to go through that. That's a little disclaimer. Okay, back to the feet. Now, my toes are pointing straight ahead. Pointing straight ahead towards you. My knees are slightly bent, and I go through the entire Wuji posture. Okay? Now I take a step forward. Since I have no weight here again, so there's another transition. I pick the weight off of my left, transitioning it over again to my right foot so that I can pick up my left foot and I can take a step forward. Now, this is where a lot of beginners have problems with Tai Chi and Qigong at first. When they pick up their foot, they slam it down on the ground. That's a no-no. Don't do that. You want to be graceful like a cat. Imagine a cat tiptoeing in the night, making sure that she does not wake up anyone else in the entire room, or during the day, alarm anything. And that's what we need to take on. We need to take on the spirit of the cat while we're doing this. So we pick up our toe, and we take a step out. And as you can tell, I'm not sure if you can tell or not. Let me go to the side view here. I pick it off. And then I step. Heel first. So as you take a step forward, make sure that your heel is first. And then after that, then you're able to move your weight forward just a bit. And as you move your weight, your foot flattens. So your foot flattens, your heel, and then all the way to your toes. And now your entire foot is on the ground. That's beautiful, I think. It's a very beautiful thing. So let's start from the beginning where we're in our classic Wuji posture, or Tai Chi, beginning Tai Chi posture. Commencement posture, we'll just call it that. And then we'll shift the weight over. I'm shifting my weight over here on my right side. My left heel is up, and I take a step forward like I'm taking a step, but my heel goes down first, gracefully, ever so gracefully, like the cat. And I transition my weight over to my left foot. And now my left foot is on the ground, all of it. But it doesn't stop there. So what happens now is, now that I have some weight on my left foot, guess what? It's time to transition. Believe it or not, we're transitioning the weight from the front and we're going to the back so that we can pivot on our left heel. And we're going to pivot over here all the way outside. This will be a full 90 if I'm not mistaken. And remember, if you don't have to do the 90, you can do 45. In fact, I do 45 very often. But you pivot all the way so that your toes are pointing straight towards you guys now. So that'll be about 90, I believe. And then Now that I have finished pivoting on my foot, I can transition the weight forward on that foot. Again, placing all of my foot down, meaning my toes then go down on the floor. There's a lot to this movement, isn't there? But do not stress, because with effort, you can get through this. Just continue. If you have any questions, just re-watch that little bit again and again. And I guarantee you, 3-5 times, that's all it'll take. You're going to get it. That's the beauty of this. You're going to get it. It's already there. But sometimes we have to wake our bodies up. And that's with everything, including Tai Chi and Qigong. It's already there. Just have to wake up a little bit. So step up. See my heel as best as I possibly can. Heel down. Transition the weight. Now, retransition the weight back. You see this motion here? I just want to talk a little bit about this motion if I can, okay? No, this is kind of like, I don't know, the first thought is a seesaw. But it's not necessarily that, it's like a boat. It's like a boat in the water. Goes back and forth, back and forth. This is also something that you can practice and play with, and I urge you to do as you work through this movement, is just go back and forth between this movement of transitioning the weight from your front foot and your back foot. Don't worry about your posture, don't worry about anything else. Just focus on your transitioning of the weight. Because that is where the key is when you transition the weight. This feels so good. And let me tell you why it feels so good. There's a specific acupressure point on your foot. It's called the bubbling wells point. I'm not going to show you that in this video. Instead, I'm going to get you to research it. Go to Google and research bubbling wells point on foot, and you'll find it. And that is the point that I want you to focus on as you're transitioning between front and back, front and back. If we were here together in person, I would give you an entire booklet full of materials on your specific acupressure points and meridian lines. That's one of the ones that I want to highlight, is the bubbling wells point. And this here can be a meditation in of itself, because as you transition the weight back and forth, and you kind of have that little hip rotation, then that's really good for your body. You are already stimulating the kidneys. You are already stimulating the adrenals. And the psychological effects of that, if you stimulate them, you're vanquishing fear and instilling yielding energy. I'll talk a little bit more about yielding if I remember just a little bit later on in this video. So transition your weight back and forth, back and forth. I feel as though a complex movement like the deer should be done in stages. And that's what we're doing. We're breaking it in stages. Even more so than movements like the tiger or the 5 organs. So once you have this down, pretty solid, then as you transition your weight back to the back foot, Now you can pivot. You can pivot to about 90 or 45 degrees. I'm just pivoting about 45. And then you begin your turn, like so. And that turn is what's going to stretch your lower back and stimulate your kidneys, activating your water energy, benefiting your adrenals, glands, and vanquishing your fear, helping you sleep better, and helping you become a better, more content, harmonious individual. There. And then after that, after we've stretched, turned, then we transition our weight back. Or no, most of our weight now will be on our front foot, right? Now we transition our weight back, and then we step back with our feet parallel in our basic posture. Okay? And we do that both sides. So that's the feet. Let's do it together now. Now that you have seen it, it's time for you to get up from your chair and work with me. Come on. You can do this. We can do this together. I know we can. The feet are pointing straight ahead. Okay? I'm going to do it side angle, and I'm going to do it facing you guys. Okay? That way you can see it. So, feet pointing straight ahead, toes straight ahead. Again. Follow me, okay? Just really focusing on the foot. We're not going to worry about any of the hand movements. Just the feet. I take a breath in, and then I exhale. And then I squat down just a little bit. And then I take a step forward, and my heel touches the ground first. I shift the weight so that my heel, or my front foot, bears quite a bit of the weight, 70% of the weight or so. And then I transition the weight on my back foot. And then, once it's on my back foot, I can pivot on my left foot so that my toes are pointing either 45 or 90 degrees. I then transition my weight to that front foot. And then I transition my weight from my front foot back on the back foot so that I can pick up my toes first on my front foot. And then I can step back in accordance or in line with my right foot back into our original Wu Qi standing posture. There's a lot to that, isn't there? There's a lot to that. So let's start here with me pointing, my feet pointing towards you guys. Relax. Don't worry about it. It takes you a little bit of time. Don't worry about it. It's all good. Just keep practicing. You're going to get it. You're going to get it. And you're going to be phenomenal at it. So, bend your legs. Take a step forwards. You're not going to see my foot too much in this. So just take my word for it. Foot forward. There. Just feel that. My weight is mostly bearing my front foot. Transition the weight, pick it up. Set down on the back foot. Pivot. My toes, my entire foot. sit back, pivot again, my toes pointing straight ahead, and then retreat back. Good. Wonderful. So, that's the first part of it. Now, shake out. Shake out a little bit. Like what I'm doing here. Just kind of kick out a little bit. Kick out your feet. You've done well. Very good thus far. If you have any questions or comments concerning that a little bit, just rewind that bit of the video. All right. So, now that we've gotten our feet basically there, it's time to focus on what are we doing here? Remember, we're in the isolation phase. And then at the end, we're going to put it all together. So, as with every Tai Chi, with every Qigong movement, your torso leads the hands. Your feet lead the body, of course, but your torso also leads the hand. So, what I'm doing here, put my hands back, I'm just going to come straight forward. This you guys should see a little bit better than the feet. It's very simple. You're turning side to side, right? But you're also activating the gua area, or your bikini line. If you wore a bikini, there it is, right there. That's your gua. Turning, turning. You're opening and closing one specific area. And that's all you're doing with this. And what this is going to do is it's going to stimulate, stretch, exercise, massage your kidneys and your adrenal glands. That's the benefit of it. And that's the benefit of the whole movement. That is the entire reason for this movement, is the turn. Is the turn. So, let's go ahead and begin with that. Turning, side to side. All we're doing. Very simple. Now, let's keep it simple and leave it at that. What we're going to be doing now is our hands. The hands in Tai Chi and Qigong are probably the trickiest part. Why is that? Because I like to liken the hand movements to the flowers or to the leaves of a tree. They are what make it beautiful. And that's what is there too as well. It's also an outward expression of what's happening internally. So, going back here, actually let me demonstrate this first, what the hands are going to do. Now, different hand postures for the deer. This is your main one. You know, you've probably seen this one in concerts, right? What they call that, the devil horns. Well, this is actually a mudra. It's for warding off evil spirits, actually. Isn't that funny? Oh, how society distorts things. But that's for another episode. I think Josh would cover that in one of his episodes that he does. That's definitely more his specialty. But you see? Devil horns. I like to call these deer antlers. And by doing this movement, this mudra here, number one, you're warding off evil influences, negative energy. So you're building a barrier, if you will, an orb around yourself as you're practicing the deer of positive, peaceful, harmonious energy. And you're warding off the negative vibes. That's why you do this mudra on the spiritual level. On a more physical level, you're also stimulating a couple of really good organs because of our meridian line here. Notice your index finger, liver, right? Pinky, heart. So you're also getting those two organs as you do this as well. So this is how it looks as you turn to the side. Like so. And it's like an airplane. Have you seen that? It goes, woo! Sorry for the terrible sound effects. But it's like an airplane. It starts here at your base, toward the lower dantian. Just regular hands. Then as you sway the side, you get your deer antlers. And you turn to the side, like so. You turn all the way to the side, like so. And that turn is where you're going to benefit your kidneys and your adrenals the most. And that's the basic of the movement. And you turn the other side, just like so. Now, I want you to notice something. If we're going left, your left hand is going to be down. Okay? If we're going right, your right hand is going to be down. So you see there's two hands, see? Your top hand, and then you have your bottom hand right here. Okay? So your top hand is always going to be the opposite of the direction you're going. And your bottom hand is going to be the direction that you're going. So I'm going left. So what's my bottom hand? Left. If I'm going right, what's my bottom hand? Right. And what's also very important to know about this movement, and with all Qigong and Tai Chi, is as above, so below. So you have this deer horns going above. There's going to be a deer horn below. It's like a man looking himself in his reflection off the stream of water. Your bottom hand is your water. It is your reflection. So that's the spiritual aspect of it. Your intention. There's power in attention. You're going to feel more of a stretch if you feel like that your two fingers here are penetrating something. Believe it or not, nothing sexual about it. Penetrating something. Think of this as knives, and you're stabbing butter with it. Like you're stabbing butter with it. And when you have that intention, oh yeah, your stretch becomes so much better. No question about it. Your stretch just becomes automatically better. So much more alive, so much more visibly active in my lower back. It's insane. So, good. Now, as you stretch from here, after you get into this posture here of stabbing, like you're stabbing, rearing something with your antlers, open your hands like this. So after you stabbed and turned, and usually I stay there for about a breath. After that stabbing sensation with your antlers, release your hands. Okay? So let's practice on that, okay? And remember, I'm going to break up the sections of the deer, and we're going to practice each of those breaking ups in just a few moments. And then we're going to put it all together. And then after that, we'll talk about more of a spiritual, energetic side of things. Penetration. release, press. It's like you're sweeping. And then you step back. In line with your feet like so, see? So you stab, release, hands, whoo! Sway across, step back, come center, like so. Let's play with that, okay? I hope you're joining me. If you're just joining, then remember, like and subscribe. Like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more in-depth Qigong videos. We're trying to get pretty in-depth here, and this is just the free stuff. So, I want to take it from this penetrating posture, or excuse me, this stabbing posture. Stabbing posture with your antlers. All right? Let's focus on this movement here. The whipping motion. Because what this is in Tai Chi, especially in Chin Tai Chi, this can be a block, can it? It can be a block, like somebody's coming and attacking you, block kind of thing, you know? And that's really what I want to let you focus on, is as if you stab and then you block, and then you come back center. And then you go out, turn, stab, block, come back down, center. Join me in this. Practice this with me, okay? Take a step with your right foot. Turn the right foot to 90 degrees. If you can. If you can't, do 45 degrees. Turn, 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 turn. And that turning sensation with your foot is like a spiraling sensation that goes all the way up into your lower back. You see, everything we do is powered by the feet, whether it's in Tai Chi, Qigong, or Bagua-Zhang. Everything is powered by your feet. We turn. Like so. You really, really want to turn. Whip across, come back. Feet parallel. Take a step out, turn. I'm stabbing you with my antlers. Stab. And then block across, whip across, block, come back in center. Exhale. And there's that melting of relaxation at the end. I call it that the melting sensation. It's as if you're chocolate and you're being left out in the sun on a very hot day. You're just melting, relaxing, creating song, creating nice song gong inside of you. Relaxation, which is not an accurate translation of the word, but we'll use it for now. Take a step out. Turn, I'm turning, I'm turning, I'm turning, I'm turning, I'm turning, I'm stabbing. I'm releasing my antlers so that my palms are facing ahead, and I sweep across all the way down to my dantian. At the end of each position, your hands should be like this, about your dantian level. I am not that crazy about certain specifics. So if it's here or if it's just down here, it's all good. As long as you're creating that melting sensation at the end. And what I mean by that melting sensation, I think you can see. Saw it? Saw how I melted there? You can tell by the wrinkles of my jacket. Melted. Stab. Sweep across. And then melt. Come back. Stab. And then come back and melt. Good. All right. That's wonderful. Okay. That's the basics of the physical element of the deer. Now, I want to talk with you guys for just a few minutes about the psychological aspect of the deer. What is it good for? And what is my intention? I talked a little bit about the intention toward the end there, didn't we? About the deer stabbing. And then after this, I want us to practice the movement together, okay? All right. So, the first thing that I want to talk about is, what is the deer good for? Well, let's put it simple and very brief, okay? And we're going to move on. The deer is good to eliminate stress. Write this down if you got your pen or paper. The deer is good to eliminate stress, worry, toxic feelings, and fear. So, stress. And I say this because the deer corresponds to the kidneys and adrenals. What are the emotions that affect the adrenals? Stress. When we're always out there going and getting our goals and becoming this type A personality type. I love you guys, by the way, if you are type A personality. But sometimes, take it from type B people, you need to kind of relax a little bit. That's not shaming who you are as an individual. Not at all. If you are more robust and go-getting type of individual, good on you. Love you. But you also need to take time to do the deer. You need to take time to sit and practice the deer movement, because the deer is going to be your best friend. Because it's obvious type A personality type have higher blood pressure, higher stress levels, and the deer is going to help you balance that out a bit more with its turning motions. What do I mean by toxic emotions? Okay, so I say fear. Isn't fear a toxic emotion? Not the same that I'm thinking of. Toxic emotions, what I mean by is toxic love. You know, love is a very dirty word. It really is. It has multiple meanings. It's kind of dirty. But more on that in another video. Toxic love. If you get in a toxic relationship, if you've ever been around, if you've ever went to school, high school or anything, if you've ever been around at any time, you've probably had a very toxic relationship with someone. You probably had a boyfriend, girlfriend, or whatever you want to call relationship with some individual, and it ended poorly and it left some toxic feelings. The deer is going to help you resolve those, but you're going to have to go to the deer. You're going to have to still your mind and go to the deer and let the deer train you, nurture you, and motivate you. We'll talk a little bit more about how you do that in our next deer video, so stay tuned. And of course, fear. Fear is the primary negative emotion that attacks the kidneys and adrenals. If you've lived in a very fearful state, if you lived through 2020 to 2022, where the entire world was just fear-based on COVID-19. I don't know if I'm supposed to say that word or not. But if you live through those times, you're fearful. You had fear inside of you. Or if you had a very damaging relationship with your father or your mother when you were a child, fear is instilled in you. So it's very important to resolve that fear. And the deer helps us do that. So instead of those emotions, that's the negative pile. So what the deer does is it looks it looks at all these balls. There's a big box of balls called the negative pile. And it looks through there and it says, no, no, no. And it uses its hoof to push that box out of the way. And here's the box of positivity. So it looks through there and it picks up things like harmony, peace, and of course, whatever is the opposite of non-toxic relationships. Good relationships. Have the ability to have good relationships with people and become a stronger and more robust person. Yielding, harmony, grace, how to move through your day with a certain grace. And don't take things so seriously. Be kind of playful about certain things as well. That's what the deer teaches. Okay, so that's the psychological aspect of the deer. The energy-wise is, and the intention of the deer revolves around, the energy of the deer revolves around the intention of the deer. And that's with specific movements. So at the beginning of the posture, when you sink down, visualize or intend yourself pushing against something downward. We talked a little bit more about that in our tiger videos. Then as you step, visualize as you turn, you're stabbing something. That's all it is. And that's going to awaken a specific energy through your kidneys and stimulate them more. And so they can become more robust and full of positive chi. Okay, so let's go ahead and end this video by actually doing the deer. So, join me in our V posture. At this point, you should know what the deer is like. So I'm going to zip my mouth and just do it. Follow along, would you? In fact, I'm going to do it with my back facing you. This is a follow along posture. Okay. There we go, bring it back. That shows you. I kind of sped up a little bit because it's a training video. You want to go at this at a very comfortable, slow pace. Slower is always good. Slower is always better in Qigong exercises so that you can feel the energy. I want you to practice that deer. I encourage you to practice it 9 times. 9 times on each side. And you'll be able to feel tremendous, wonderful benefit because you're going to be doing it every single day. Wonderful. All right, that concludes our lesson for today on the 5 Animal Frolics deer. Next one, we're going to be looking at the deer meditation. So I can't wait to see you then. Thank you, many blessings, and I hope you have a terrific, wonderful day. Remember, stay in your heart. Peace.